Dark psychology. The power of absolute silence is the ultimate weapon of social dominance. Most people believe that to win a conflict, to stop a bully, or to crush a manipulator, you need to have the loudest voice, the sharpest insult, or the perfect counter-argument. They are wrong. That is a low-status script. When you argue, shout, or over-explain, you hand the emotional vampire exactly what they crave: your energy, your data, and your submissiveness. You validate their attack. But high-value individuals utilize a silent Machiavellian counter-strategy that completely unhinges a manipulator's mind. It is called the blank stare protocol. By refusing to offer a protocol, single facial expression, a single blink, or a single defensive word, you create an agonizing psychological void. You force the hidden malice of the covert aggressor to crash against a solid stone wall, causing them to drown in their own social awkwardness. If you don't know how to weaponize the quiet vacuum of your mind, you will always be a pawn in their loud theater. Here are the 5 brutal rules of Machiavellian silence to outsmart anyone, control any room, and become completely untouchable. Rule number 1. Never interrupt an aggressor while they are attempting to insult or humiliate you. In standard social training, your instinct screams at you to cut them off, to defend your reputation, or to fire back an insult. Dark psychology reveals that this is exactly what they want. They want to create a chaotic verbal match where they can drag your social rank down. When you deploy the cold vacuum, you completely freeze their momentum. As they speak their toxic words, you do not shift your posture. You do not cross your arms defensively. You simply look directly into their eyes with absolute, deadpan neutrality. Let them finish every single word. When they stop talking, expecting you to explode or justify yourself, you do nothing. You do not speak for 3 long seconds. In a social setting, 3 seconds of dead silence feels like an eternity. By refusing to give them an emotional payload, you force the entire weight of their insult to bounce back and settle over them. The room will grow intensely uncomfortable, not with you, but with the person who just exposed their own toxic malice. To hold your frame, keep your breathing steady and slow. If they try to break the tension by saying, "Hey, it was just a joke," do not nod, keep the vacuum sealed. Rule number 2. Master the art of the unapologetic, low-tempo question after the silence. Once you have established the cold vacuum and the manipulator is starting to sweat under the pressure of their own awkwardness, it is time to shift the power dynamic completely. You are going to ask a question that forces them to dissect their own poison. But the secret is in the delivery. Your voice must be low, steady, and slightly bored, as if you are auditing a tedious financial report. Look them straight in the eyes and ask, "Could you explain exactly what the goal of that comment was?" Or, "What response were you expecting from me just now?" Then you instantly shut up. This is the interrogative pause. Do not help them out. Do not offer an escape route when they start to stammer and backtrack. A master manipulator thrives on implication and hidden digs. They completely collapse when they are legally forced to explain their malice in plain English. They will either have to admit they were trying to be cruel, which ruins their public mask, or they will have to say, "Oh, nothing, it was nothing," effectively castrating their own social power in front of the entire room. Rule number 3. Never answer an emotionally charged attack with more than 1 word. When a toxic boss, an envious co-worker, or a manipulative partner tries to drag you into a dramatic confrontation, they are fishing for your validation. They want a long defensive explanation so they can audit your logic and find flaws in your argument. In dark psychology, this is known as information baiting. You break this trap instantly by deploying the monosyllabic wall. When they fire a complex, dramatic accusation at you, you do not explain yourself, you do not argue. You look them in the eyes, nod slowly, and say one flat, boring word, "Okay," or "True." Then, you return to silence. By refusing to give them the dramatic data they crave, you starve their psychological engine. They are expecting a screaming match, but they hit an absolute void. They will try to push harder, asking, "Is that all you have to say?" You reply, "Yes." You become a psychological mirror that reflects their own unstable emotional state back at them, forcing them to look completely frantic while you remain entirely self-governed. Rule number 4. Shift your gaze from their eyes to their forehead when they are trying to intimidate you. In high-stakes social engineering, eye contact is the ultimate currency of dominance. A manipulator will look at you with intense, aggressive eyes to force you to look down, which instantly signals submission to the room. If you stare back into their eyes with anger, you accept their aggressive script. You enter their cage. Instead, you use the audit eye contact. When they are talking or shouting, smoothly shift your focus from their eyes to a specific spot right in the center of their forehead. Maintain a completely blank, stone-cold poker face. To the rest of the room, it looks like you are maintaining normal visual contact. But to the manipulator's subconscious mind, this shift is devastating. In human biology, staring at the forehead signals that you are analyzing them as an object or an inferior subject. It communicates absolute, freezing indifference to their existence. Within 10 seconds, the aggressor will subconsciously feel audited, lose their footing, start stumbling over their words, and look away first. You won the frame without saying a single syllable. Rule number 5. Walk away from an argument with 0 concluding statements. In standard social interactions, people feel a desperate need to have the last word. They think that saying the final, sharpest insult wins them the fight. Dark psychology proves that the opposite is true. The person who tries the hardest to get the last word is the one who is most emotionally invested and desperate for validation. When you use the disconnect protocol, you signal absolute high-agency superiority. The moment a conversation becomes circular, toxic, or low-value, you don't roll your eyes, you don't slam the door, and you don't offer a dramatic parting phrase. You simply stop talking mid-sentence, turn your back, and calmly walk away as if the other person suddenly became ghosts. You treat their presence as completely irrelevant. By leaving the context entirely blank, you trigger their deepest psychological insecurity. Their mind will run worst-case scenarios, wondering what you are planning, what you are thinking, or what you know. Your silence becomes an invisible ghost that follows them for the rest of the day, forcing them to exhaust their own energy while you remain completely autonomous. True social power doesn't belong to the loudest tyrant in the room. It belongs to the person who controls their own emotional state, utilizing the silent vacuum of their mind as a solid stone wall. When you master the laws of dark psychology and Machiavellian silence, you stop being a pawn in other people's chaotic theater. You become the absolute architect of your own frame. You see the traps before they are sprung, and you watch the manipulators collapse under their own social pressure. If you are ready to reclaim your social authority, stop over-explaining, and develop a mind that no one can manipulate. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment with your thoughts on the blank stare protocol, and stay powerful. This is Quiet Power.